Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing my rant video on the worst OS ever. It's worse than Windows Vista, 8.1, and even Windows 10. Windows 11. And I bet Windows 12 is going to be bad is because Windows 12 is going to has more AI crap on it. I hate AI. I'm not an AI fan. Even the new Alexa has AI. Alright, anyways, Windows 11 was the weirdest operating system in the world. You know why? They made the system requirements very high. Because Windows 11, I understand Microsoft wants people to buy a new PC to make money. I get that. But you can run Windows 11 on hardware as old as, 2009, 2010, 2011, because, and the thing about Windows 11 is that their requirements are actually a big scam. I agree to Nick on Cube Computer Channel. I agree with him on Windows 11. And the thing about Windows 11 is Windows 11 did add new features than Windows 10. But let's talk about Windows 11. Okay. So Windows 11 23H2 and below, you can run Windows 11 as old as as far as I know, as old as a Pentium 4, which has CPUs from 2004, 2005. And it can run Windows 11 23H2 and below very well, because 24H2 has this new requirement that has a POP CNT SSD 4.2. So you can't run CPUs older than the Intel first generation Core i3, i5, or i7 or below, or AMD Bulldozer or below, because if you try to run Windows 11 on older hardware, older than 2010, 2011, it will not boot. So you have to stick with 23H2 if you're trying to run from a Pentium 4 to a Core 2 Duo, Core 2 Quad. And then AMD, whatever series, Amphlon, Theon, through the FX series. Or no, not through the FX series. I would say the ones before the FX series. So, okay, the 24H2 above requirements, to bypass, the actual requirements are an 8th gen Intel, TPM 2.0 and secure boot and all that crap. So if you want to bypass the requirements on 23H2 and below, you can go as old. Windows 11 can run as old as 2004, 2005, 2006 hardware. For 24H2 and above, as old as 2008, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, because I actually did experience Windows 11 on my Dell Optiplex 3010 with that SSD. And it ran Windows 11 very well with the GT1030 and the HD7750 that went back to Windows 10, then back to Windows 7. So now let's talk about Windows 11. Let me go talk. I'm thinking. So the Windows 11 requirements are actually a big scam. They're a scam because you can literally bypass the requirements using Rufus. But, like I said, let me go talk about the requirements for 24H and above are the Intel, basically all the i3, i5, and i7 CPUs in the AMD FX series, for example, FX 4100, FX 6100, etc. And for example, for RAM, at least 8 gigs of RAM and at least a 256 gigabyte plus SSD. HDDs can be acceptable, but SSDs are better for Windows 11 because Windows 11 is very heavy, heavier than Windows 10. And Windows 11, I know that Windows 11 23H2 is losing support. I think the date is November 11, 2025. And Windows 11 24H2 loses support on October 13th, 2026. Windows 11 25H2 is coming out. Yeah. So let's go talk about I'm actually refurbishing computers which are 3 HP Pro Desk 400G4 SFF computers that have Windows 10 on them right now. They have the Intel Core i3 6100 and the i5 6500 CPUs, 8 gigs of RAM, and 512 gigabyte SSDs, and an HP Elite Desk 800G5 SFF with the i7 9700, 32 gigabytes of RAM, and a 512 gigabyte N.V, a Western Digital one. So, okay. So, I'm still in school. I'm in my senior year right now. As I'm like 21, 22. I'm going to stay in school till I'm like 21 or whatever. Maybe they'll change it up to 22, 23. But when I'm done with school, I'm actually going to do a computer shop to replace computers because I knew about computers since I was about 2-3 years old. So I'm actually going to be refurbishing those 4 computers. And guess what operating system they're going to have them on? Windows 11. Because if the processors are if they're older than the 5th generation Intel CPUs, they're sticking with Windows 7 because if they're I like the old computers, the ones that are older than 2015. And yes, you can run Windows 11 on hardware that's 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th gen, 5th gen Intel CPU. And yeah, the 9th gen i7 I have meets the requirements by putting it on factory image. So it has Windows 10 for now, but I'm either going to put Windows 11 on them or probably even Windows 12 when Windows 12 comes out. But I don't know if the Windows 12 requirements are going to be very high. I don't know if Windows 12 is going to be able to run on 10-year-old hardware. But yeah. So while I'm refurbishing computers, I'm going to be putting Windows 11 or Windows 12 on them because I don't know when Windows 12 is coming out. But I'm not doing this up till like 2030. That's going to be like when Windows 11 30H2 comes out. Or 29H2. Or I don't know what their last build is going to be. Like, who knows? Like, it's on 24H2 right now. It's getting to 25H2. But the computers that originally came with Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 8.1, or whatever, like, especially that HP Pro Desk 400G1 SFF that has the factory image, I'm keeping that is because it has Windows 7. If the computers are newer, like I said, if they're newer than the 4th generation Intel, newer than the AMD CPUs, newer than 2014, are going to have Windows 11. I'm going to be refurbishing them. And then if Windows 12 can run older hardware, I will put Windows 12 on the hardware. It depends on what the seller thinks. And yes, I will put a disclaimer to the customer saying, FYI, the computer does not meet requirements for Windows 11 or Windows 12. However, it will receive updates and support. But about Windows 11, if you have that on support hardware, is I have 2 things to have about. If your computer is like older than 20, I would say I don't know. I would say probably older. If your computer does not meet the Microsoft Elite class system requirements, you're going to have to manually install the Realtek Ethernet controller. You can get that off of Realtek's website, which is www.realtek.com. You should be able to get the drivers on there. And if you want to update, like when 25H2 comes out and you're on 24H2, you're going to have to download the 25H2 ISO, use Rufus to bypass the requirements, then you're going to have to do that in-place upgrade. Without wiping your computer, you're just going to have to run step.exe on the computer so that you can install 25H2. Because you will not be able to install 25H2 through Microsoft from Windows Update. Is because if you're running Windows 11 on unsupported hardware, you're not going to be able to install those updates automatically. You're going to have to do it manually. You're going to have to do it through Rufus. Make a new installation media. Like, I'm doing installation medias on Windows 10 right now, which I'm currently working on 1809 that I got the older versions in that and 22H2. Then after that, I'm going to do Windows 11. One's the original images and one's that bypass the requirements. So yeah, Windows 12 is going to be very bad, in my opinion, because I bet it's going to have more AI crap on there. AI bloat. AI sucks. So yeah, that's my opinion on Windows 11, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.